What is up, noobs? Welcome to the 574th take of this Dust 2 Smokes video. I've not actually touched the YouTube channel in a long time, but I am using a new program. I'm trying out OBS for recording and stuff like that. I used to use Fraps and Audacity, and I used to merge the two, but let me know if it sounds any different, looks any different, feels any different, all that rubbish in the comments, I guess, after the video. I haven't done Overpass, and I haven't done Nuke, and I just couldn't be bothered to do them, to be honest, but I assumed that all the hype around new Dust 2 would warrant me coming out of content hibernation for like the past 8 to 10 months, and I actually making a new Juicy Smokes / Nades video, so I guess we'll move on with that. A lot of people have actually still been watching the videos that I made for the prior map, so a long time ago, and people still subscribe because of it, so shout out to them for being the real gamer MVPs. One thing I will note is you do need shader detail on very high for these aerials to appear, but I only use them for 2 smokes, albeit relatively important smokes, so shader detail on very high. Even on high, for some reason these aerials just fade into the nether and they don't exist anymore, so Valve either please fix, which is probably unlikely, because it's Valve, or play with high shader detail, because if you have a bad PC and you play on low graphics for high FPS, who cares? Because it's a new map, and apparently 18 FPS is the way to go. JK Lamau. First smoke in this corner right here against the fence and the wall, not with the railing. Fence and the wall right here against this, looking at this corner, and where the aerial would intersect in the air like that, and you jump throw, and that will smoke Xbox for you. Bounce off the step, like so. From exactly the same position, if you aim at this aerial that comes up, not the one that goes out horizontally, but the one that comes up vertically, and you aim at the very tip of it, and you jump throw, that will smoke mid-doors for you. It might seem a bit weird to some people to have an actual lineup for that, but my theory is, in the minor event that you spawn for long and you want to smoke mid, instead of running up and then running forward, you give the CT time to position and kill you with an AWP. So you can just come here and throw that smoke completely obscured from mid and not die within the first 15 seconds, like every gamer apparently. Moving on, long corner. Line up the corner of this building here with the corner of bedroom. That's what we call it in Australia, so that's what I'm going to call it. And you want to aim the left-hand side of this left-hand door up to this corner here. And you essentially want to keep your crosshair in line with the corner there as you walk forward. So you want to keep like looking upwards as you move forward. You don't really want to let it droop. Like so, and that sometimes it'll bounce on the roof, sometimes it won't, like in that case, but either way it will always give you the long corner smoke that you need, forcing the CTs to wide peek you. One thing to note is they got rid of this fucking horrendous ledge that used to be here that the CTs could like sit on and abuse the corner of the smoke as it fluctuated, but props to Valve for removing that, but they decided to make CT start even more OP with the addition of this piece of shit, so I'll get to that in a second. This gap has been fucked with as well. I don't really understand the logic here. Like, you know, you get rid of the gap here, and even here I could still see feet moving past. But on the other hand, there's a fucking enormous gap on this side now. And if you cover up this gap, there's an enormous gap here. And if you throw it perfectly in the middle, there's a moderate gap on either side, which is a bit retarded. So I think the way to go is to smoke deep CT at the moment. I saw a smoke on Reddit the other day from here, from like a crescent right over here, which did actually work prior to the update that they've just done, but the update that Valve just did actually changed the like how even the floor was. They sort of smoothed it out a bit, and I believe that one from the crescent sort of abused the unevenness of the floor to maneuver itself into a more centered position for that's deep CT smoke. But never fear, for I have a fix. So if you come to the little dent here in the curb, I guess it is, right just to the left of that crescent actually, the peak of it, and you aim to the right hand side of the green door on the window and up to the roof, and you want to run jump throw when your crosshair hits the top of the window. So the right hand edge of the left hand door of the window up to the roof, and you run jump throw, so you jump throw when your crosshair hits the top of the window. So up here like this, run jump throw, and it will actually bounce over the ledge completely and will bounce itself into CT spawn like so. So there's a tiny little gap here that might be abusable to see heads, depending on the way the smoke fluctuates, but from back here, you know, Orpus can't abuse it and all that waffle. And come on, let's be realistic, at least somebody from your team is going to try and flash your whole team by flashing CT. You know, because that's the way this game works. So that is that smoke there. Moving into mid now. Mid to B can be done two ways, both from virtually exactly the same position, but either way. So from the floor, completely obscured from mid. Aim just at this orange marking essentially on the wall, just above the wire. Left click, and that will give you a nice juicy mid to B smoke. You can throw exactly the same smoke from on top of the pallet if you wanted to fake mid to B and go cat one jump quicker. You can jump on top of the pallet, aim at exactly the same marking, and left click, and that will give you virtually the same smoke, just a little deeper. One smoke that I have found that I'm actually quite proud of, because I was trying to figure this out on the old Dust 2 and I just couldn't manage it. Come to the right hand side of the door here, and you actually aim, jeez, in between these two. So you can see like the corner here of the next building along, and you can see the corner here of this, sort of the outside of this archway, but the corner's there, and you aim in the middle, and you want to aim all the way up to the roof, and you want to walk throw like 1 or 2 steps. And what this actually does is it bounces on top of the boxes. And the purpose of this smoke is, one, so that they can't jump up, because, you know, people jump on these boxes all the way up and they'll try to look over. But also, if you actually smoke CT as well with that, the AWPer from long side A can't come and actually shoot you as you run up B ramp into B, because obviously there's a gap. You'll see when the smoke up here fades, there's a gap here that people can abuse and see. You can see the entry to B doors there. You can even see people running up to window and stuff. So with that smoke there, it actually stops that from happening. So that is that. There is a smoke. The only like major B smoke, well, not really major, but the only smoke I can really think of for B is if you come to the right hand side of these bricks and you aim anywhere in between like the middle and the right hand side of this pylon here and up to the corner of the building, like that. That will actually give you a B tunnel smoke. So you can either use that to retake, or if you're playing mid and you haven't used your smoke yet and you are trying to, you know, assist your teammate in B, you can re-smoke tunnels for them without actually having to run all the way up to B doors and smoke it for them like that. And the final smoke that I have to display is this one right here. So this was actually doable on old Dust 2. The skybox is still very open, but it's actually for short. So if you're playing long, you line up the building with itself, like so. So you can't actually see any of the building other than this like front face here, and you aim where this metal sort of pole intersects with the power line. So you just aim right there where the two intersect, and you left click, and that will actually smoke short. So you can triple stack long early round if you wanted to. You can still smoke short, or you can, you know, just assist your short teammates. If you have like teammates playing short and you're going to give up long, you can use your smoke for short to keep more control of it, and so forth. Couple of Molotovs. So I actually have to wait for the smoke to fade to throw the first one, which it has. So if you come to this little cutout essentially here, you can see this light sort of comes out over here. So what you actually want to do is, obviously be careful of this, but like 90% of the time mid doors are smoked anyway. So I just generally keep it in the middle where I'm actually aiming, is where the light pole, the actual pole of the light essentially connects to the light itself. So you want to aim like smack bang in the middle there, and you want to throw your Molotov. And what this actually does is it lands just shallow of the corner, but it still burns the corner completely, as you can see. But the benefit of this Molotov is if it's landing like here, what it does is it spreads out here as well, as opposed to just being in the corner, and it actually stops people playing anti-flash. So what some teams will do is they'll have somebody playing here, and they'll have another teammate playing close anti-flash. So if a flashbang goes off, they can turn around, they're unblind, and they can sort of, you know, surprise pick their enemies, or, you know, just keep this person alive and whatever. But if the Molotov is landing here shallow, it burns stairs and it burns anti-flash. There's absolutely no chance of that happening. Pizza molly still exists, obviously. You just basically run and gun, however that used to be. You know, still works how it used to. This molly was a fucking bitch to find, but let me tell you, am I fucking happy I found it. So this car is probably the most overpowered addition to any map I have seen so far. This is just ridiculous. CTs can sit behind this car, and they can fight short, they can use orbs and whatever, and they can literally crouch and be unspotted behind the car. My head is not visible to short. Before that, you could play this corner, take a shot, but after that you would actually have to give it up. You know, you could flash, maybe wait here, take another shot, but after that you have to give it up. Here, no. You fight, you hide. And you can wait for your teammates. Your teammates can flash in front of the car. You can flash in front of the car. Because they're up there, they have full view of that flash. They either have to turn or face full blindness, and then you can just stand up and fight again. So, flashing over the top is unviable. This roof is just too high, and the Molotov either goes too far, or it expires before it lands. It's just absolute bitch. So the best Molotov I have found for car is this. You can see this white strip that my crosshair is running up and down now vertically, and that is actually the left-hand side of a window. So if you line up the corner of this building with like the left-hand side of that window, and you aim at the right-hand side of this, like, I don't know, phone pole or some shit that goes all the way up there, and you aim at this aerial, essentially where it intersects with the aerial, left-hand side, and you run throw, and you let go when your crosshair hits the bottom of this metal roofing. A lot of instruction to follow, but that's the best Molotov I've found for car. So it bounces off the angle, and it Molotovs there, and they can't play anywhere around the car. And the only thing you really have to worry about is this corner, because they can spot you when you're throwing the Molotov, but they can't actually spot you, because here is where you'll be throwing. You can't actually see any of the car. So unless they're playing right at that end of the edge of the car, which is like virtually pointless, you know, people will be playing much further back, probably even behind the entire car itself. You know, it's highly unlikely that you're gonna get spotted. The last major addition I can think of for this map is the corners. Some of the corners of these like sections were changed. So here was one as well, especially. This one actually pissed me off because it wasn't like this in Source. It was like it is now in Source, but in the older version of Dust 2 for CSGO, this was rounded. So if you wanted to flash off, the flash would sort of bounce off the curve and it would pop like real outbound. Whereas here, you can sort of just throw a little close flash and just pop flash close mid like that, and it's a close flash and it comes out and it pops, you know, really suddenly around the corner instead of bouncing out here somewhere else in the fucking galaxy and being like pretty useless. For any like super noobs, this flash still obviously exists. Probably the most fucking famous long flash. And the last place that I can think of where this actually has a major change is here. Running up short, oftentimes you would run and jump and throw your flash off the rounded section of the wall on Old Dust 2, and your flash would bounce across and blind short. And you could use this for like fast cat tags, so you just, you know, run, aim basically anywhere on the wall and you could just throw. But they've actually removed that capacity, so you have to use this window now, and obviously it's relatively small. The most efficient lineup I've found is aiming at the top of this window, essentially, but in line with the big window up there, and you just run, and you can jump through off that, and it will, you know, it'll still bounce around the corner and flash short for you. So that is the fix for that. Other than that, that's basically it. The entire map hasn't really had much done to it, other than a major reskin. The car tunnels have been made thinner, so that it's a bit more choke pointy, I guess, for the CTs. You know, it just leads to even more B-rush spray downs, I suppose. But I was kind of hoping they'd change the map to an extent where the game would change tactically on this map, as opposed to just still being relatively puggy. But not much you can do about that, I guess. Other than that, I guess that's about it. They fixed this. This is now doable. They added the skill jump back, but you can't do it through mid doors anymore. I'm not even sure if you can do it from the corner now that they've changed unevenness. So you can see this little like hook right here. This is actually what you land on. So because you're raised by the stairs, you can jump straight onto it from lowers, which you never used to be. Well, I mean, you could if you could like air strafe properly in the old one. You used to jump onto the corner. From here, you can do it because you're slightly raised. I think, yeah, you can still do it from there, but from mid, you can't do it anymore because it just you can't even do it close. Oh, you can. They fixed it. Never mind. I'm retarded. Cool, you can. So that must have been with the most recent update. I'd never actually tried that before, but the more you know. That skill jump is back. We are fucking back in action. KZ is unite. Map is now easy for us, marginally. But yeah, that's basically it. Like I said before, like, comment, subscribe if you can. Follow me on Twitter if you have Twitter. Follow me on Twitch if you have Twitch as well. I'll leave the links to those in the description. And other than that, enjoy your 18 FPS, brand new, virtually unchanged Dust 2 that hopefully replaces Cobblestone, because Cobblestone is a shit map.